Today's meeting is on social media marketing to grow your social pages and attract a large audience of people who are more likely to be interested in your product or service. Social media is where communities share content about their lives, their hobbies, their businesses, and modern platforms have billions of users. Each platform has a unique interface and features that attract audiences with different demographics and behaviors. One of the first steps that you need to take is to choose the right platforms for you and your business. So choosing the platforms that work for you depends on the type of content you want to create and the audience that you want to attract. You can create a company page on most platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the list goes on. Having a page on several platforms helps build trust for your brand and provides social proof. Your company pages often appear in search results, and this can improve your discoverability online. We recommend exploring each platform and committing to those where your customers spend most of their time. Facebook alone has 62 million active users, and social media has 4 billion active users. So it's a great place to market your products or services. However, the competition is stiff. So that's why we're going to discuss different ways that you can attract a large audience of people that are actually interested in your product or service. The world of social media has endless streams of content, and it's easy to get distracted or reeled into consuming news feeds daily, as all of you might know. Now, users on social media fall into two categories, and these are creators and consumers. Scrolling through the newsfeed often wastes time, and you consume lots of unnecessary information. However, if you follow the right people or influencers at the top of your niche, your newsfeed will become a library of inspiration. So it's important to carefully select who you follow and to follow leaders in your niche so that you can gain inspiration of what to post and you can keep on top of the latest trends for your audience. It's a good idea to search your chosen platforms for leaders in your niche and follow at least 10 influencers that specialize in a similar product or service to yours. One of the first things that you need to do when you're marketing your business on social media is to research your target market and to build a customer avatar. Now, Claire, you've actually taken a coaching program, so you will know about this. But for the rest of the people in the meeting, when lots of effort goes into creating posts, it can be disheartening when you don't get much reach or engagement, and you might feel like you've wasted time or your content isn't good enough. However, the chances are that your content is not reaching the right people. If you were writing a book, for example, on heavy metal bands, trying to sell it to people who like classical music wouldn't work. So researching your target market and consistently creating content for your ideal customers can attract the right audience of people that are much more likely to take action. To find your best audience, you can use platforms like Meta, YouTube, Amazon, Reddit, and Quora to research your target market and build an avatar of your ideal customers. To build an avatar, you need to gather some basic information about your ideal customers, including their age, gender, a day in the life of, and any hobbies or interests they may have. You need to understand your avatar's current state, their dream state, and any roadblocks that are stopping them from achieving their dream state. If you were a hairdresser, for example, your client's current state is that they might not feel good about themselves, they might not like their hair, and their dream state is to have a better hairstyle or have hair that really shows themselves off, that builds their confidence. For each state, the current state and the dream state, there's going to be specific things and words and languages that your audience uses that you need to understand. And by doing this research, you can communicate with your audience on a level of understanding. So they feel like you understand their current state. And if you use their language, you're talking to them as a friend, not a salesperson. By doing this, you can offer your products or service as the ultimate solution. If you were trying to sell your products or services to anyone, then the chances are that you're going to be wasting your time. So it's very important to actually research your target market. Now, I'm just going to quickly share my screen to show you an example of how you would research your target market or platforms that you can use. To research your target market, you can use platforms like YouTube. And to do this, you would go through the comment section and you would try to discover as much information that you can about your target market and your customer avatar. I do have a guide on your target market. So you want to answer these questions. For example, who would get the most out of your product? You want to know the name, age, and location, background and brief history, a day in the life, values, current state. And for the current state, you want to know things like what is painful or frustrating for your avatar, what do they fear? And for all of these questions, you can find the answers in these comments, or you could also scroll through reviews on Amazon, and you can literally copy and paste the answers from Amazon or YouTube to complete your target market research. If you wanted to go deeper into researching your target market and to create a customer avatar, there is a course that I can offer you on my website. It's Commator.com on target market research and creating a customer avatar. One of the first things that you need to understand, obviously, when you're posting on social media is the community guidelines and the rules for the platform. Now, social platforms often have rules for posts and ads, and just by abiding to these, you can significantly increase your reach and they will push your posts further. So you need to research the community guidelines and the rules for each platform. It's common sense, really, but it is a good idea to actually research the community guidelines for each platform before you begin to post. Some platforms have additional policies, such as an engagement bait policy. You want to avoid including trigger words or texts in your post. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you include engagement bait, such as like the post or comment on the post or share the post, it actually reduces your reach. And you should also avoid using words like sale, offer, discount, buy, pound signs or dollar signs, or any external links in your post if you want them to go further. To create content for your audience, you need to know what to post. So when you have selected pages or influencers that you want to follow, pay attention to their content and create a swipe file or take screenshots of posts that you like for inspiration later on down the line. To find trends or to find content that your audience loves, you can use platforms like TikTok and YouTube that allow you to filter the results and narrow them down to the most liked posts in a specific amount of time. For example, you could filter results to the most liked posts in the last 3 months. And to do this, when you search TikTok or YouTube, you'll see a filter button at the top. So select filters, select most liked videos or posts, and then set a date range for the last 3 months. And with these videos or posts, you can again create your own swipe file for inspiration. And by creating trending posts for your audience, you're going to attract a large audience of people that are more likely to be interested in your product or service. Now, you can also use platforms like Google Trends. And if I just share my screen again with you guys, Google Trends will show you, you can search for different titles and it will show you how popular this term is. And it will also give you some examples of related queries. Now, if you're stuck and you really don't know what to post, you can also use answerthepublic.com. If you type in a query here, it will give you tons of questions that people in your niche are asking. And by answering these questions, you're going to, again, attract a large audience of people that are more likely to take action. If you create content or videos similar to other trending content, then you are more likely to show up near their post as a suggested video or a recommended source. So on YouTube, for example, when you're watching a video, at the top right-hand side of the screen, there's suggested videos. So if you create a post or a video similar to one that's already trending, you're more likely to show up in the suggested column. When you're creating your content, rather than just bombarding people with information, for example, if I was guiding people on how to increase their reach, you wouldn't describe the answer. In social media posts, it's important to use hooks. Hooks are a way of reeling in your audience and getting their attention. You can use them in social posts, subject lines, ads, and video titles. You want to create a sense of curiosity with these hooks, and these could be an opportunity or threat, the sense of danger, and you want to create curiosity and mystery. It's important to include information gaps and unanswered questions. The idea is to get them to click on a call to action or want to learn more. If you use an enticing hook, they're more likely to watch your video. In your hooks, you want to capture the attention and maintain curiosity, emphasize an implied opportunity or threat, give specific details with information gaps to prolong curiosity, ask a question of interest, and be specific, but don't give the answer. So don't give statements the reader must guess. For some examples of hooks, you could choose to write something like, nobody is talking about X, why X isn't working. X ways to get or improve Y. Do this to X. Or X reasons why you need, feel, or aren't getting Y. The next topic that I want to talk about is using media in your posts. Images and videos are a great way of grabbing your audience's attention. And as a result, the viewers are more likely to engage with your content. Pages often use images or stills to create curiosity and intrigue, to get the audience to click a call to action or to learn more. Now you understand the basic principles of hooks and copywriting techniques. You will recognize how influencers use images and videos with hooks in them to get the users to click more. With images, you want to avoid adding text that fills more than 20% of an image. Use bright colors like orange, purple, and green to help grab the audience's attention. One of the next types of content that you can use to significantly increase your reach, you want to start using or creating reels or short videos. Reels are, if you don't know, they're videos up to around about 90 seconds long, and they're taken in a 16:9 ratio or on a mobile device in a vertical position. They are a great way of attracting a large audience of new fans, and they're becoming more and more popular. Platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube are really pushing this type of content. You can create fun and engaging content from short clips, add sound, text, and animations. And if you add a catchy hook as the title, you're much more likely for the viewers to watch the short. Another way of increasing your reach is to include hashtags in your posts. This works particularly well for TikTok and Instagram. And hashtags, if you don't already know, group content together. Users can follow hashtags on social media, for example, hashtag marketing. You can use hashtags in your content to reach a larger audience of people or people that are searching for these hashtags. If you use hashtags, it's important to use relevant hashtags and don't include too many in one post. Now, as a tip for Instagram posts, if you search for posts that are similar to the one that you are creating and you find one that's trending or doing really well, you can copy the hashtags and use them for your posts. But make sure that you remove any irrelevant hashtags, such as they might have included a hashtag for their page or their company name. When you're planning your content on social media, it's important to plan ahead. And with many platforms, your page displays as a list of posts. And although the layout might not be crucial, planning your content and including things like holidays and sale events into your marketing calendar can help ensure that you don't miss anything and that you prepare in advance. Some platforms present your content more artistically, like a grid of posts. And in this case, it's very important to plan how your grid is going to look overall. If you want some extra help on creating grids for Instagram, there's a blog post on my website, Commator.com, and that will show you how to plan your Instagram grid and how to lay out the Instagram grid. So how to post and in what order you need to post in. Another way of reaching more people online and engaging a large audience of people is to create groups. Facebook and LinkedIn are the platforms to create groups in. Public groups are a great way of attracting a large audience of people looking for solutions around your niche. If you do create these groups, it's very important that you don't pitch people and that you don't continually offer them your products or service. In a public group, you need to provide value. Over time, you will build a following of people that want to learn more about your business or brand. You can create private groups for your customers and use them as forums. This way, you can build a community around your product or service and build relationships with your fans. Most platforms provide page insights with reports of your performance, and they also include data about the audience. Monitoring your results helps understand what your audience likes so that you can create more similar content. In Facebook, you go to professional tools on your page and you'll see page insights. There you will see a list of all your posts and how the audience has engaged with these posts. You can also find extra details about your audience. Knowing the extra details such as age and gender of the audience you have attracted can also help to present future posts or how to talk to your audience, the language you use to get better results, and the formality you should use. For example, if you have attracted a younger male audience, they obviously might not be interested in things an older feminine audience would. You can also use the latest slang for younger audiences. I really appreciate each and every one of you that's turned up, and I really do hope that the webinar has provided you with some basic insights and tons of value on how to increase your reach and attract a large audience of people that are interested in your page. Aside from the coaching session, if you want to gain more value and insights into social marketing over time and on the go, if you subscribe, you will get an actionable PDF guide on social media marketing that covers everything that I've discussed in this webinar.